Good afternoon. Hopefully everyone's doing good. Welcome to the VRML Ignition Cup, the second of many tournaments hosted by VRML. Today we're going to have an amazing set of games. Only 4 set of games actually for the NA side of this, but over the course of the next, I believe, 3 to 4 hours. My name is Martini, and of course I have Finto in the casting booth with me. Sorry, we're moving a little fast right now because the games are going to be getting started pretty soon here. Just a quick reminder of the rules. It's going to be 4v4, new competitive mode going on in Orion Drift. It's going to be a best of 5 in a Swiss-style bracket over the course of today. Obviously, the top 16 that come out of this weekend will move on to the next weekend for playoffs. But only 4 rounds of games will play today, and then tomorrow will be 4 a set of games, 2, and then obviously whoever makes top 16 again, like I said, will move on to next weekend here. And we will be picking up our first game here. Looks like Cosmic Rage and Cosmic Competitors. I mean, how are you feeling, Finto? I know a lot has already happened on the OCE, or I guess APAC side of things, and the EU side of things. It's definitely been a fun set of games here.
Yeah, look, well, I'm incredibly excited. I was, over on that EU stream. Didn't quite catch OCE, but I can tell you EU was exciting. Looks like we're getting ready to go into this game, but I can tell you, just from that first day of EU, second day will be tomorrow with finals, but I can tell you, things were looking exciting already. I'm looking forward to the competition here over in North America as we kick things off now.
Yeah, it looks like we're already getting the ball here on the Cosmic Competitor side, trying to go in, but they are getting defended by the Cosmic Rage defenders here. Definitely the color scheme might be a little different, than the first time around, but hey, we'll make things work out here as the ball is still very much in play, being attacked right now on the Cosmic Rage side. But again, I think the biggest thing we're going to be noticing here is just the back and forth in terms of this ball here as they try to really fight for that possession right now.
And of course, early days in these kind of tournaments, the very first, you're not always going to get the closest of games. I mean, you could, but it's difficult to find as the tournament goes on, as the days progress, and next week into the semifinals, almost a shot there. But we will see the games get closer and closer, more exciting as Cosmic Rage find the first on the board. 1 minute past has already passed, and it's Cosmic Competitors now to see if they can turn things back around, if they can find one of their own.
Yeah, that was a great shot coming out there from Cosmic Rage. Already off to a good start. Looks like a long shot going in. Is he going to make it? No! Missing just a little bit left, but it doesn't matter. Pickles there for the follow-up. I mean, already off to a hot start here for Cosmic Rage. What are you going to see? What are you expecting to see from Cosmic Competitors? They're not really responding as well as I had hoped.
Drift ball frenzy restarts.
Yeah, they're struggling a bit there. It looked like they had a good grip on the ball when they sent it back to the goal, but just lost out of their hands, and a rebound from Competitors. Found a second on the board. I don't know. There's still a lot of potential. We've seen things turn around pretty quickly, especially in games like this where the scores seem to come in early and confidently from one team, but that overconfidence can be their downfall. I mean, we might see some of that now.
Yeah, things are quite working out right now for Cosmic Competitors. They're trying to get this ball into play here, but Cosmic Rage, gotta say, the defense coming out very strong for them right now. They're going in for the deep clear. Unfortunately, no one there to be on the receiving end of it, as that did not look great there. Kelp, though, getting the ball in hand, looking for some potential passing options as they are moving down the arena here, and they are moving down for Cosmic Rage, setting up this attack here. Pickles able to pick it up, going in for the potential shot. Does get interrupted by the 2 tackles there, and Fitch sends it for a deep clear there.
Yeah, and a good save out of the goal. Maybe trying to turn things around here. No, Kelp gets a hold of that for the Rage side. Now Catty in the Hattie sends that what seems like could be clear, but it's over into the Competitors' side, into their grip. They pass that forward. No one quite to receive except Cosmic Rage themselves. It's a toss-up. They could find this, but cleared again. It's a back and forth. It looks like we have one disconnect in the field as well from the Cosmic Competitors' side. As I say, that Cosmic Rage find a third on the board.
Yeah, I mean, Cosmic Rage is doing such a good job right now. I'm wondering what's going on the Cosmic Competitor side. I think the biggest thing I'm going to be noticing coming out from them is the fact that they just keep going in for these deep clears with no direction, I think, and that's kind of causing them to lose a lot of possession early on.
Yeah, and it's something we saw, as the games got of more high quality, and we watched some very high quality teams play yesterday. The possession game seemed to prevail a lot more than the clear game, and I think that's something can really indicate a team's skill level. Of course, these teams still, more skill than I could put on, that's for sure, but nonetheless, maybe not quite at the highest of high levels like we saw in some of those close games towards the end of EU, and like we will see as the day progresses here today, tomorrow, and next weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, as we talk about these first couple rounds here, we'll be seeing a lot of, I think, newer players in this competition. And I think the biggest thing people are going to notice is that pressure. When you're playing in a competitive environment, especially at this level, there's just so many different things to worry about. The stresses are just so different, you know, from team to team, right? And I think that's the biggest thing I always notice between these newer and older teams is just being able to handle that pressure and perform well under that, you know, intense competitive pressure that they're not quite used to, right? It's different when you play this game in scrims. It's different when you play this game more casually versus we're in a tournament now, right?
Yeah, and then, you know, this is where it all comes down to play for. Even today, when it seems like there might not be as much at stake, it could just, you know, losing just a few games here today could be the difference between your ticket to the top 16 or your ticket straight back home, away, and out of this tournament.
Yeah, it looks like that deep shot there doesn't quite connect as it does get picked up by the defender, but Gorilla King going to be coming back here. Does unfortunately get tackled again. And it's what I'm talking about. This Cosmic Rage defense has just been giving such a hard time to the Cosmic competitors here as they have just been struggling to, again, maintain possession and really, I think, get any good goal opportunities here.
Yeah, and it's great shooting when it comes in from Cosmic Rage, just like there. With 15 seconds of the clock, that is basically going to be this first point locked in for them. And there's some great plays from them. Maybe not quite passing plays like we saw earlier on today with EU, with OCE, but still great shot placement, great solo runs.
Yeah, things, again, just keep getting tackled by these teams. Kelp getting the ball in hand. It does get spiked down, so that's going to be the first round. They're going to the side of Cosmic Rage here. And talk about, I think, just overall good work out from them here. And, I mean, what did you see from the two teams in that last game?
You know, well, we saw some great defensive moments from that Cosmic Rage teams. Of course, the points where you highlight tend to be the attack, those goals. But goals would be nothing if you couldn't fend off the other teams, and Cosmic Rage clearly could do that quite well. It's not like Cosmic competitors were on the back foot the whole time. They had a lot of great shots, great attempts, some good passes, but nothing that could stick thanks to that great defense of Cosmic Rage.
Yeah, definitely worked out perfectly for the Cosmic Rage players. The biggest thing I'm going to be asking from Cosmic competitors, can they really work on that possession? Can they manage that? Can they hold it? Can they hold themselves defensively pretty well against the Cosmic Rage players, right? Did the game start already?
Oh, wow, okay. I must have not realized that. Whoops. But, I mean, that's the first. Yeah, I didn't see that either.
Did that go right into round two? Sorry about that, y'all. That's already 2 on the board. Isn't there supposed to be a break in between the rounds?
Oh, yeah, that's what I thought as well. And we did see that earlier today. I'm a bit confused myself.
Sorry, y'all. Maybe it might have skipped the break. There might be a bug in this arena right now. But anyways, we'll be rolling with the punches here. As it looks like Cosmic Rage already off to a great start here, having 2 in hand. Remember, this is a best-of-5 series, so all these teams have to win a minimum of 3 of their rounds. Long shot going in there, coming out from the Cosmic Rage players. And, you know, they've just been, again, performing such a good game against the Cosmic competitors.
They're not wasting.
Yeah, they're coming in here confidently. 3 points, which I believe is what they finished. No, they finished with 4 points last time. But they are already on track to, mercy with the way they're playing this game. And it's only a minute gone by.
Yeah, it's definitely been rough for the Cosmic competitors. I think Cosmic Rage definitely ramping up their momentum. I mean, they already had a 4, goal in the previous round. I think we might be seeing a little bit faster. There's only a couple minutes, and never mind. That's the first shot coming out there from Cosmic competitors. And you know what? Maybe they just needed to warm up a little bit.
Yeah, and that's the first on the board that they've had this entire series. But, as you say, maybe it just takes a bit of warming up that first game to get your head in the game. And maybe another one right off the bat. Almost. It's the rebound, and it's found. Cosmic competitors. 2 on the board now. What is going on?
Yeah, 2 in under a minute, I gotta say. Maybe even 30 seconds. I'm not sure how fast that was going. Yeah. Definitely a lot better in terms of momentum. I was talking so much about Cosmic Rage, right, in terms of momentum. But this switch up is looking great right now from Cosmic competitors. Are we gonna be seeing another? No! We just almost saw another one, but unfortunately that tackle was beautiful and perfectly played by that goalie. And these tackles, again, are just coming out in spades right now from the Cosmic Rage players as Caitlyn gets the ball in hand. Moving down the arena here. Looking for a Pickles there. Does connect, but it does get tackled, unfortunately. And that defense is going to be sending it outside of their goalpost for now.
Yeah, and not quite getting a clear. Still in a bit of a danger zone now, though. Gorilla King breaking away with that. Although, player on his back. It's a nice pass off just before he loses that up to Zexy Lol. Strange names here. Pandemonium, though, finds that, taps it to the back of the goal, and evens up. No, takes that advantage a bit more. No, evens up that scoreboard. What am I saying? Because of the competitors, we're at 3-3. 2 minutes 30 left on that clock.
Yeah, they're definitely going a little faster. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what happened on the Cosmic competitor side if they just decided to lock in the previous... I can't even say break because they went straight into this round as we had noticed. Looks like Gorilla King come down the arena here. Goes in for the pass. Unfortunately, no one on the receiving end of that as... I don't even know how to pronounce that. Zexilo tries to send it back to their teammate, and it does barely scrape the hand of Pandemonium there.
Yeah, and he keeps it safe, gets it back into his possession, just lost. You know, it's a big difference between getting it safe in your possession and just clearing it, which gets the problem away from you, but just for a bit. We might see a bit of that here. Gorilla King, yeah, that's just clear, not in possession, but he could find possession, takes that up in the air. Zexilo passes it off to no one, and it's going to be Kelp who regains possession for the Cosmic Rage team.
Yeah, Kelp's going to be getting tackled there, though, so hopefully Skilla can pick it up themselves here. Going in for the potential moving down the option, but it does get picked up there as they are now combating for that possession here. And, you know, this is something we've been seeing the last, minute or two. Again, possession play is vital in a game like Orion Drift, where both of these teams at this point are equal and are really fighting to get that 1 point lead over the other team because they want to win out the second round here, right? Cosmic Rage is going to be able to finish this game sooner than later, but Cosmic Competitors is going to want to force this to potentially round 4 or 5. Well, definitely a 5 here in order to win things out.
Yeah, we could maybe be seeing overtime as well. 1 minute left. It's Skilla taking that up into the air. Just loses that to Bermuda. That tackle coming in. Those corners are dangerous places where everyone gets tackled. Everyone loses the ball, and you don't know who's going to come out with the advantage. It's always such a gamble going in there, but it could be, and it is. Cosmic Rage take back their advantage for the, when they came in strong at the start of this game. Cosmic Competitors seemed like they were running away with it with 3 back-to-back great goals, but now Cosmic Rage with 40 seconds left regain that advantage. We could be seeing them, taking that victory. Looks like the clock wasn't as high up as we expected, and then it's going to be Cosmic Rage 2-0 in the way of series points and 1 away from taking the victory.
Yeah, that did work out for them. Hopefully they do get a break this time around, right? I'm hoping they get a break this time around because I don't know, maybe the break's sooner than we thought. Maybe it's like 20-30 seconds now or something like that.
Well, I felt like instant though.
Am I crazy?
I don't know what went on.
Someone checked the stream or something. I thought I was crazy for a second because I was just like, wait, what's going on here? I thought this is definitely a lot quicker than it normally. It didn't feel like it was going as long as it was going, right? I think it's a minute, right? It's about a minute for the break there. That did not feel a minute at all. But anyways, we finally saw some responses coming out from Cosmic Competitors there, right? 3 goals coming out themselves. I think a lot more momentum. What are we expecting to see potentially in this upcoming round here?
It looked like they had, here we go into this round. They had a good start on the Cosmic Rage side. It looked like they came in and they were going to dominate, keep dominating like they did in the first round. But no, Cosmic Competitors turned it around, evened up the score, but it looked like for a moment they might make this lock in a 4th point here. In the end, Cosmic Rage just squeezed that last goal, but I think if they can hold on to that bit of momentum that they still clung to towards the end, it stopped them from losing by as much as they did the first time around. It was only a 1 point difference that second game. Then they could make something happen here, turn things around, and send us into a 4th, maybe 5th round.
Yeah, looks like they're going to be fighting now for possession again. Cosmic Rage doing their best to really keep the ball in hand here. That's a long shot potential, but no, it does get picked up by Zexy. I think that's the right way to say that, but anyways, Cosmic Competitor trying their best to move it down the arena here, but Bermuda does pick it up here, going down to the shot there. It's an open goal there, and that's going to be that's going to be a great goal from Cosmic Rage.
And those are the moments we got to be careful. It might feel like you got a strong defense, like everyone is playing back, but in reality, none of you are playing back, and you've got no defense at all. All it takes is one player up in the air with the right angle. No one in goal, all of you trying to press that, trying to find that ball, and Cosmic Rage get basically a free goal.
Yeah, they definitely do here. Looks like we might be seeing Cosmic Competitor themselves, though, responding to that goal. Does get picked up, though, by the defenders, as, again, another long shot being sent back there. And, again, that's another thing I've been noticing from the Cosmic Competitor side, right? When we see these clears coming out from Cosmic Rage, there's not really someone back there to receive it and allow that possession play to be scooped up by them and, you know, go right back into scoring goals on, or at least goal attempts on the Cosmic Rage defense, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the difference between, you know, actually getting that ball safe into your team's possession, you know, where you're getting to set the pace, compared to just getting it away, keeping that danger away and delaying the, you know, potentially inevitable. Like we might see here, Zexilol picks up that ball, nice carve off the floor, bounce off the roof to the teammate. Nothing quite yet. Bermuda holding on to that, doing too much, maybe though, as they almost lose that, almost forfeit that goal, trying to hang around and sit by their own goal, messing about with the ball. It's not gonna cause any problems, not just yet at least.
And not quite yet as Cosmic Rage trying to get their attacks set up here, but that defense from Cosmic Competitors finally coming in good form here. And again, I'm wondering, maybe they just needed a warm-up, right, from Cosmic Competitors from that first round, because this round's looking a lot closer. Only 1 goal in total, now 1-0, so these teams are a lot closer. It doesn't feel as one-sided as we'd seen in the previous rounds here, right? Cosmic Rage trying to get that shot in there, almost making it, but talk about gotta watch your shots. There's a good clips the top goal, but it doesn't matter. As they can finish that one out here, and Cosmic Rage very much in good form still.
That is a shot for the ages, as one player shoots that past four different players there, and they saw the moment where they all aligned and created the perfect straight line to the goal. You know, I want to say handed over a free goal, but how can you expect that? All 4 players, and there's another one, yeah. And then Cosmic Rage there, the goal seal is opened up, and it feels like this game is in their hands, and this first match is in their hands.
Yeah, again, they already have the 2 wins here, right? So they get 1 more. That's going to be the end of the series for them. As, again, best of 3. They just need 3 wins to win this whole thing out and go on to the next round here. Well, everyone, again, this is Swiss bracket, so everyone goes on to the next round. But they'll be going on to the next round with a win in pocket, and that'll be good for them, right? They want to get those wins, secure those points, and maybe, just maybe, try to get themselves in the top 16 for next weekend, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's what everyone's aiming for this weekend. That's what the goal is in mind. Forget about finals. If you can't even make it to the top 16 in the first place, Skillet looking like they want to keep fighting for that chance. You know, the way I see it is that every team gets 1 game that they get to lose, right? Because it feels like in every tournament we've seen so far, all of the top teams that have made it through have lost 1 game and 1 game only. And, you know, you don't want to be losing that game as your first game. And it's not a great way to start off the tournament if you're Cosmic Competitors here, which I believe now, yeah, this might lock in. If they can find that goal, not quite, but the time is ticking down, yeah. Might lock in that loss of the first game for them.
I mean, 4-0, when we get to this point in the game, you know, in terms of timing and score difference here, we're talking about mathematical time. And when we say mathematical time, is it possible for them to score enough goals to win in this short amount of time here? And I think we're definitely beyond that mathematical time at this point, as it's going to be 4-0. Only 10 seconds left in a round here. Cosmic Rage finishing this one out here. Can we see anything from Cosmic Competitors? Just 1 consolation goal, but no, they decide to end that sooner than later here, as Cosmic Rage will win out that round and this series here. I mean, Finto, what'd you see? I was hoping for a second, though. We might have seen a comeback from Cosmic Competitors, right? They had the 4-3 in round 2. I was feeling that momentum ramp up, but what happened?
I mean, there was so much potential in that second game. There was, you know, they had that 4-3. It was a 1-point difference, and they had some great moments, some great goals that you might not have been expecting. I certainly wasn't, especially after not a great first round, but they just couldn't carry that forward. And I don't know if it was a mental thing, you know, momentum kind of thing, especially if you have such a strong comeback in that second round, but you just can't snatch it, you just lose out to a single goal in the last 30 seconds or so, that can really ruin your mental as a team, your confidence, which can affect your gameplay more than you might expect just watching, you know, from home. And I think that could have been the deciding factor for Cosmic Competitors there, the nail in the coffin, the final straw that just stopped them from turning things around fully.
Yeah, it's one of those challenging things, right? You finally feel like you're warming up for the round. You got a couple good goals in on that second round here. But you're right, mental is going to be the biggest thing here because, again, this is best of 5 rounds. You want to be able to mentally be able to last all 5 rounds. And unfortunately, as you lose, imagine that you perform your best in that round and you still lose. It's a little bit hard, right, to come back from something like that. And unfortunately, they couldn't, right, going into that upcoming round. Things just quite didn't work out for them in the end here. But doesn't mean that it can't work out for them in the upcoming rounds here, because as we mentioned earlier, again, most teams, I think you're allowed in this Swiss bracket with, I believe, 8 total games, 1 or maybe potentially 2 game losses, and you can still make it into the top 16 here, right? So we'll see how things develop over the next 2 days here. But I always think, right, the first couple games, hey, you know, it doesn't quite work out, it's fine. As long as you get a good amount of wins, keep going forward and try your best, you might be able, just might, be able to scrape into that top 16 and potentially get your hand onto that, what is that $1,000 prize pool. I will say, reminder, it's a prize pool for every region. It's not per region or anything, so it's 1,000 for everyone. So there's a split, I will say that. But hey, let's not worry about the details right now as we're talking about how far these teams can make it. But looks like we will be going into a quick break as other teams are finishing out their first round here. So hopefully we'll see y'all pretty soon here, but not too long. Hopefully the wait's only, I'm hoping, 5-10 minutes. No, it's not. Maybe like 15-20 minutes, right? These teams are going to be setting up and getting ready for the upcoming rounds here. But hey, at least the games have started today. We'll be coming back not too long.
Prepare to start.
Only Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Okay,
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Okay,
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody reinforce?
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody reinforce?
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Okay,
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody reinforce?
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Okay,
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody reinforce?
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point.
All right, welcome back. Hopefully y'all are doing great. Sorry for the very long intermission. You know, I always say this, the first couple rounds, right, it can be a little longer. They do take everyone getting used to the system and getting ready. But hey, we're going right into this upcoming game here. We have Chill Kings and the Space Nine coming up here on this current game here. Let's go, Fintel. Let's see what we're going to be seeing between these two games. These two teams, sorry.
Friends, it's go time.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, I'm looking forward to not teams I've got much experience with seeing, and not teams that I don't think anyone has much experience seeing either. This is early days, especially in these early tournaments for this early access game. And, you know, I'll say early, a bit more early access game mode, the 4v4 arenas. Everyone is starting fresh, showing themselves anew, and a lot of these players coming in with having not played before up until the game went open to everyone. So many new faces, so many new people, and so much potential for all these new teams like the two we're seeing here to show themselves and show what they might be able to do. Starting things off, maybe finding a goal here, and it will be 4v4 Space 9. Find the first goal on the board, scoring that on the Chill Kings. The two teams we're watching today.
Yeah, it looks like Chill King's already trying to respond here. It's Titan getting the ball in hand, sending over the Breeze here, sends it back. Unfortunately, a little bit of miscommunication there in the end. That would have been a beautiful, beautiful passing sequence there. I think it connected 1, 2, 3 times almost in the end here. But anyways, Chill Kings now having to respond in terms of this defense here. Is Reaper trying to keep the ball very much on their side here. Titan able to get the ball in hand. Does get tackled as they're now fighting for that ball possession. Titan able to win that one out in the end. Sends it deep over to clear, but hey, this is why you gotta be careful with some of those clears. Dingle Button comes in for the cleanup here. Now going in for the 1v2 situation here. Does get tackled though in the end.
Yeah, and now try to turn things around. Chill Kings can't quite regain possession. It's Hulu, S9 Hulu. Oh, it bounces that off the side, and he can't hold on to that either. Chill Kings come in, nearly take over, but it's Spaceman getting a hold of that up on the side. Titan goes to pressure. It's a pass off. No one to receive up the midfield, and it looks like the Chill Kings are going to get that. Animate is going to have to animate 37, passes that off, but the teammate isn't quite there for it, and it's intercepted by 4v4 Space 9, who could be making a run here. Have the possession up in the air, pressure, tackled, knocked down. The ball is ripe for the taking by Titan X.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to be seeing the Chill Kings trying to push it down the arena here, but this Space 9 defense doing such a good job at keeping it back and keeping possession very much in their hands, trying to go in for some goal-scoring opportunities here. Takes the shot there. Unfortunately, does get picked up by the goalie. Tries to go for another shot there, and his defense finally coming out from the Chill Kings here. You know, they're not getting great, I think, offensive opportunities here, but they are doing a pretty good job now at holding back Space 9 from getting another goal here.
Yeah, and it looks like, you know, they had a good chance, they had good pressure, and they have shots, but yeah, as you say, great defense from the Chill Kings, for now at least, but that can only take you so far when you're 1 point down. They need to find this next goal within the next 2 minutes, 15 seconds, if they want to take this first round, or at least see us into overtime.
Breeze able to get the ball in hand now, coming off of Nest here. Goes in for the cross pass. Goes a little too wide, unfortunately, but Anime still able to get their hand in on that. But the defense is very much making it very difficult to come in here as Reaper able to pick it up and scoop it around the arena here. Goes in for some beautiful jukes there. Sends it for a long pass there, and it goes actually over to a Spaceman's hand now in his 1v3 here. And again, that defense proving pretty solid coming out from them as that ball almost getting right up to that goalie there. Talk about high pressure. Talk about being a little bit of anxiety as they come in for the shots there, right?
Yeah, and you gotta hand it to the Chill Kings with this defensive work for now. The moments of pressure, that's when it all matters. When those shots come in, you gotta know, you know, either guess which way to dive or have the quick reflexes to dive the right way when you see the shot come in, and both are quite nerve-wracking as a defender, but it looks like it's paying off. They could be breaking away. 3 players up on the Chill Kings side, pushing up forward. It only takes 1 though to find the goal and lock in an evener of a goal for the Chill Kings. We are 1-1 now with 1 minute left on the clock.
Talk about equalizer here, but doesn't matter as they got intercepted there, and Chill Kings able to pick that one up and go in immediately for the follow-up shot there. That's got to be an unfortunate situation for them. I'm not sure if it was lag or if their defenders just did not see that attacker coming in from the Chill King side.
Yeah, it's just a rough situation. That one's got a sting for 4v4 Space 9, but yeah, in the end, it's looking like 20 seconds left on the clock, half a minute left. They could make something happen here. Dingle Bottom, what a name that is, trying to break away with it, but no. Breeze recovers, the goal's open, he shoots it, and that is the nail in the coffin for the 4v4 Space 9. That is going to put them 2 points down, 10 seconds left to go. Mathematical time, as we like to say here. It's not possible for 4v4 Space 9 to recover this game.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is going to be it. I think, though, technically that does hit the floor, so I don't even know if they count that as a goal, unfortunately, in the end. But Chill King's going to be winning that one out for this first round here. I mean, talk about a little bit of back and forth, right? We had seen Space Nine, I think, hold down a goal for a good while, and then Chill King just came in and hammered them. I mean, 3 back-to-back, I think.
Yeah, and I guess it just took that moment, that time developing, start to realize how are we going to beat this team, how can we adapt, and how are we going to play best today with our current state of, roster or whatever. And once you lock onto that, once you figure that out, and you get your rhythm going, that's when you can find those goals back to back. And it clearly worked out for the Chill Kings just like that. Let's see how they do going into these next few rounds. It will only take 2 more like that for them to find themselves with a victory.
I'm hoping we're going to see something different from Space Nine, right? They had great momentum going into that round here. It almost quite worked out for them in the end, but Chill Kings, again, that momentum switch up towards the second half of that round really came in and shook things up.
Yeah, that's for sure. And it looks like we're starting things off strong. This time on the 4v4 Space 9 side with a good pass off. See S9 Hulo still holding on to that, passes it off to the teammate, and what a great passing sequence. 4v4 Space 9 to be the first on the board for them, and the first goal they have seen in a while.
Again, we saw this happen, though, in the first round here. They can't let this get to their head. They got to just keep it tight, lock in, and make sure this doesn't happen again, as that's a great follow-up by the Chill Kings there. And this is a game. This is definitely a game now. Both teams definitely fighting to be the one that wins this one out.
Yeah, now we're seeing properly both teams come into their own here, understanding how they play their best, and clearly taking advantage of it as S9 Hulu tries to find some space up here, but Titan breaks away with that ball, maybe finding a second for the Chill Kings, and Dinglebottom can't quite find that save there, and that is going to be 2 for the Chill Kings.
Yeah, that is just, man, I don't know what's going on right now. It's only a minute. I need to tell these teams, hey, just take a breather. It's only a minute in a round. The fact that we already have 3 goals total scored already showcases how fast these teams are going in here. It looks like already taking a shot there does get picked up by the goalie, as that's going to be a long shot there, but I don't think it's going to be able to make it in, as it does get clipped on some geometry there in the end. But it looks like Spaceman themselves getting the ball in hand here, moving it down the arena, but it does get picked up by the defenders on the Chill King side. Funny that their name is Chill Kings. They don't look so chill.
Yeah, and I think as this game has progressed, I've seen them play a lot more aggressive. It feels like they spend a lot more of their time either holding on to possession or chasing down that possession when they don't have it. And I think that could have been the deciding factor. That's what changed for them, going from, maybe the first few rocky minutes of the game where they were down a point up until this point where they seem to be scoring goals back to back to back.
Oh, that was a beautiful follow-up there in the end. Almost worked out. It was going to be a perfect assist, but it does get picked up by the defenders. And again, Chill Kings proving that their defense is honestly doing a pretty solid game right now against the Space 9 here. They've been struggling to really get some of these goals to actually work out, as the tackling has been working so well for them. And again, as we see both sides now just fighting for possession at this point, as we're seeing a lot of back and forth.
Yeah, and there's still chance for 4v4 Space 9. They clearly have the aggression here, have great passing moments just like that. S9 Hulu takes it, but the shot isn't quite there. It doesn't have quite the speed or the accuracy needed to close that off that goal and even up the score. But there's still a chance here. S9 Hulu recovers that, shoots it down. It's Spaceman on the rebound. And that, finally, there we go. Now we're even back up once again. 4v4 Space 9 is not out of the running yet for this game.
Definitely a competitive game now. Both of these teams going back and forth here. I want to see which one ekes out in the end. Is it going to be Chill Kings already with a round up here? Are they going to be able to make this one work out? Or are we going to be seeing a good game coming out from Space 9 as they try to fight for their own win in this series right now? As again, Space Kings, Chill Kings, sorry. I'm mixing up the names at this point. The Chill Kings, already having a win here. Again, this is a best of 5 series, right? So they want to win 3 total rounds. Your Chill Kings already has 1, so they just need 2 more. Whereas Space 9 dealing with an uphill battle, having to win 3 themselves against the Chill Kings here. Anime sending the ball over to their teammate, does get into the hands of the Ghost here. Surprisingly, I did not think that was going to work out there in the end, as Ghost now playing off a Nestor. Goes in for the 1v3, does get picked up by the defenders though.
Yeah, and that ball back up in the air over to Hulu, who just manages to drop that when trying to bounce off the wall. Not a great way to go, but Reaper on the recovery runs that out, runs that quick. Tries to find it in the goal, bounces off the side, and they're there for the rebound anyway. The defenders couldn't quite pick that up, and that's going to be 4v4 Space 9 with the first point advantage we've seen since that first game.
Look at Space Nine really coming in here into their own form. This is, again, a very tightly competitive game as both sides are doing a really good job of maintaining the score here. But again, Space Nine up now 1 finally. But Chill Kings, can they make their own response here? Or are they going to potentially lose out their first round to the Space Nine players as Chill Kings now having to defend this current attacking?
Yeah, and it's Hulu who could find another one to maybe potentially lock in that victory, and that looks like that will be it. 4v4 Space 9, 2 points ahead, 4-2 scoreline, 20 seconds on the clock, and that is going to be locked in. They will have a fourth round for sure in this game, and a great way to find it as well. Great turnaround of momentum.
Yeah, you know, we always talk about that mathematical time. 2 goals in the span of 10 seconds. I just don't know if it's quite possible. But hey, they can try to get a consolation goal here to at least really shake up this momentum and maybe get a little bit of confidence going into this upcoming round here. Breeze trying to take a shot there. Does get cleared by the Space 9 defenders there. And that's going to be it for this round here. And now this is a game. You know, when I see one team get the first one, I'm like, okay, that's good momentum for them. That's a good start to be playing with, and it gives them a little bit of confidence there. But in the end, Space 9 getting that second round, I call it a game at this point, right? It's anyone's game at this point. Both teams have proven that they can get a round win against the other here. What are we expecting to potentially see in the upcoming rounds?
Look, if they can carry that momentum forward, you know, how they've turned around that second game, which felt, you know, a bit slow for them at the start, at the end of that first one as well, felt like the game was running away from them. But if they can carry that momentum, they seem to have gained back forward, that positive mental, we could see something good from 4v4 Space 9, something change for them, as we did towards the end of this game, and that found them the victory as we get ready to go now.
Yeah, coming up into this upcoming round 3 here. Again, both teams now already with a round in the pocket here. It's really, again, anyone's game. They just got to get 2 more wins for both sides here, as the ball already coming in on the Space 9 side. Hulu able to get the ball in hand here, sends it over the Reaper. Does connect. And I got to say, the passes have been doing a pretty solid job, I think, between these two teams here.
Yeah, and you know, they've been playing great possession games. I feel like some games you watch and it's just a bit of an all-out brawl between the teams constantly. They're just always tackling and fighting, and it feels like no one gets anywhere. Any goal that is found is some random long shot, but these teams feel just a bit more calculated, a bit more cool, relaxed, one might even say chill in the way they play this game and hold on to that possession.
Right. You're right. I've seen so much back and forth, and we always say these first couple of rounds are kind of a wash, right, in terms of you just don't know who's going to be playing it. You have to see the chemistry, the skill levels really branch things out here. But I got to say, Space 9, Chill Kings putting on a pretty good show right now, considering, again, both teams already with a round in the pocket. And we've seen some great chemistry from both sides, right? Some good defensive plays, some good connections in terms of some of these passes. It definitely makes me excited to see what's going to be cooking here from both of these teams here. Hulu setting it now for the reset here. Dingle button, dingle bottom, whatever. Going forward here, but it does get picked up by Animate as they tackle that, but they can't get the dribble, unfortunately, as they are fighting for that possession here. But Ghost able to receive the ball, sends a shot in, and talk about
great
beautiful
save.
block.
Yeah, and that is safe for now. Hulu breaking away with that, ceiling carve off the top. Here comes Breeze though for the tackle. The ball is lost. Who's going to pick up? It's Kaz. The Ghost takes it forward, but hits it just out of their possession, just out of their reach. Reaper chases that down, tackles onto Ghost, and it is going to be sent away, cleared. We talk about good possession, and then they go and do something like that. It seems like no one can hold onto the ball for much time right now. Reaper trying to find that. So is Spaceman. So is Breeze. Everyone wants the grip of that ball. It's Hulu who's going to walk away with it. Bounce off the side. Animate. Goes in. Almost a long shot. Not quite. Spaceman finds that. There's potential for the pass. 2 players are on him, though, and he's not going to be able to hold on to that for long.
I was so excited. I mean, the fact that that player had the vision to see the goalie was out of play, it's just all it took was honestly really dialing in that shot there. This might have been a very different game, but hey, look at the score line right now. We're about halfway through the round here. No one has scored yet. I gotta give credit to both teams again. They are fighting to make sure that they're the ones that went out this round here because, again, best of 3, right? They just need 2 more rounds in the pocket. Reaper sends that a deep clear over. Hopefully Hulu can pick it up. They can. It looks like it's going to be a wide open goal here. Do they take the shot?
Oh,
they do,
no.
and that's going to be the first goal. As I was just talking about how long it took for someone to score.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, there's 2 ways this can go from here. Either that goal seal is broken and both teams, the floodgates are open, we will just see goal after goal. Or the other option, which is that will be the 1 goal we see for a long time. This could just be a low-scoring game, and that could be a good sign for 4v4 Space 9 to find what might be the one and only goal of this game if it keeps at this pace.
For sure here, Chill King's trying to make a response. Now already having the ball on the Space 9 side as they're trying to score here. But again, that defense has just been giving him such a hard time. Space 9 sends another deep one.
Oh,
Is that a
no.
long shot in? That
What a
is!
read.
And talk about... Wow, I mean, Space 9 definitely feeling more chill now, I would say, after that goal.
It's on.
And you're right, in those moments, the good read, the good understanding of the game to realize, yeah, there is no one who can make it back to that goal fast enough, faster than I can shoot this ball. They take the shot, the long shot, and they find a nice goal, which is, you know, confidently taking a lead for 4v4 Space 9.
Sends over the Reaper here. They're ready for the 1v1. They just missed their hand on it, but it doesn't matter.
Oh,
as their
no.
teammate came in for the follow-up there. And again, Space 9, you were talking about, you know, breaking the seal on goals here. And I think you're totally right. The fact that they've hammered 3 goals back to back to back, I think they just needed that first one.
Yeah, and it's about, like, I don't know what it, you know what, I don't know what it is, that mental, that momentum, I don't know what it comes down to, but the goal seal is real, and we might just see another one here. Animate keeps it safe, but there's 40 seconds on the clock. Safe for what purpose at this point, besides your own pride in not trying to forfeit any more goals here? I don't think there is enough time for anything to happen on the Chill King side, and this will be a second game locked in for 4v4 Space 9, putting them on match point, and that just a bit of salt into the wound that is the loss that the Chill Kings will be facing.
Yeah, at this point, I think just being the Chill Kings, you want to secure at least 1 goal in the pocket here. You don't want to feel the burn of 4-0 right now on that previous round, considering how close these 2 teams were the last 2 rounds here, right? And it looks like, I'm not sure what happened on the Space 9 side. I'm not sure if they just locked in for this round or if they just took a breather and something happened. But I think Chill Kings, unfortunately, are being a little too chill in this current round here as they did lose. That is going to be a 5-0, I believe, for these
that was a goal.
players there.
Thank you for being a part of this incredible.
Oh, and what a rough way to go it felt. You know, we were 2 minutes 30 when we found that first goal for 4v4 Space 9, and we were 4 goals following that one, 5-0 for that final scoreline. And it feels like things have really changed for 4v4 Space 9. If you just look at that scoreboard down there, you can see how that slowly ramps up for them from, you know, losing the first game to a 2-point advantage to now a 5 points advantage, only finding the first goal in the second half. That's all 5 in those last 2 minutes 30. I mean, we might even see a mercy go into this next one in the next, you know, minute or something.
You know, Space 9, yeah.
First game, the way they're ramping up this momentum.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. You called it out perfectly, right? Chill Kings start off good, right? 3-1, but then we see the switch up 4-2, but then we see an even a bigger switch up coming out from Space 9 there, going 5-0 in that previous round here. But we'll be going into round of 4 here. Again, best of 5. Chill Kings is going to want to stop the momentum here. Otherwise, the series might be ending at least 1 round earlier than they'd hoped here. But Chill Kings got to ramp something up here because I hate to use a team's name against themselves, but sometimes they might be a little too chill right now.
Yeah, that's for sure. And it will be a great show from 4v4 Space 9 if they can, what seemed like a really strong game from the Chill Kings at the start, if they can turn that all the way around, find their own victory. Animate wants something to say about that. He's not done yet fighting, neither is Breeze, coming flying that ball in. Hulu Yeah, no one can quite hold on to it for long. It is a brawl in the logo space here, but it looks like they're going to get that away just safe now into the side, away from table. It's Animate, picks that up safe on the reset, but Reaper knocks that out of the hands. Now everyone's pressuring. Now it's the Chill Kings who are on the back foot. He misses the ceiling carve, and that's in the possession of Spaceman. Goal seems almost open. Can't quite find it yet, though. It's safe, but for how long as Reaper sends it across? Goal open, Breeze. Keeps that safe for now.
Long shot coming in here from the Chill Kings. Unfortunately, the Space 9 goalie can be back there and able to pick that one up. Dingle sends it over right to Hulu there. Can they take the shot there? No, they just went a little too wide. Doesn't matter there as they have that teammate there for the follow-up. You know, if I were their teammate, I was about to start screaming that how did you miss that open goal, right?
Yeah, that's one of those upsetting moments. You know, you can see, you know, even the best of players. We even saw stuff like that from Ivy and Cold. What seems like the easiest shot that even you or I could make. And I guess it must be the nerves, must be the pressure that gets to some of these players. Or maybe they just put all their energy into some great plays like this one could be with some passing that they just missed. The important moments like that could have been.
Goes here, able to get the ball in hand. Does get tackled right out of them, and Hulu themselves trying to keep that possession here. But, man, we can definitely see the Chill Kings really trying to ramp up their defense now. But Spaceman reads that perfectly. And this is something I've noticed time and time again coming out from the Chill Kings here. Their defense has just been leaving that wide area in the back way too open because they keep getting caught out by the Space 9 players.
Yeah. And it is great stuff from Space 9 when they do, because, I mean, it's enough from the Chill Kings to make that mistake in the first place, but it's even more from 4v4 Space 9 to pick up on those small mistakes, to read them, take advantage of them, like they're doing here, which is leading to their win among other factors, or winning so far. Still time on the clock, still potential for more scores here from the Chill Kings.
You know, it was moving so fast I didn't notice. Someone in the chat had mentioned it. Shout out to Echo Miss there, but turns out it looks like the Chill Kings are actually at 3 players right now. I don't know what's going on here, but there's only one. Am I seeing this wrong? 1, 2, 3
Oh,
players.
no, looks like you're correct. Yeah.
Yeah, which is crazy. I think I see someone on the outside and their name
that.
says the Chill King Chili Panda. I don't know what's going on right now for the Chill Kings, but for some reason they are not playing 4 players in. Maybe they're not rostered. And this is again the biggest.
Have 4 at the start.
Yeah, this is the biggest reason to have those subs, right? Just so you have the amount of players, just in case things don't work out for you.
Yeah, which is pretty strange because I'm seeing 2 different the Chill Kings players on the side there with that little tag in their name, who just seem to be watching on, pretty content with what looks like the end of the road in this game for the Chill Kings. Almost finding another one. It's Hulu, not quite, bounces that off the floor. Breeze picks that up, sends that across, taking that away, not quite tackled. Looks like he might be home free with this. Tries to juke Reaper there, but it's not to be. Reaper returns the favor, also not to be, but it's Dinglebottom who loses that again to Breeze. Neither team can hold on to it for long. Tackles, jukes, missed jukes again and again and again, and no one can find a goal. And if we keep going like this where no goals are found, then 4v4 Space 9 walks out with the win, which is not a great situation for the Chill Kings.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be sending that over to their teammate. Does get picked up. I just missed them. Picked up by Reaper there as they're going in now on the Chill Kings players here. But they do pick that up one, unfortunately. Breeze trying to move it down the arena here. Trying to potentially win this 1v2, 1v1 in the end. But it does get picked up by that goalie. Talk about beautiful defense there by the Space 9 player as they prevented that goal from going in.
Yeah. And you know what? As we look at this last 30 seconds tick down, I mean, it's really worth talking about what a game this has been. And honestly, I'm a bit confused because it seems like the Chill Kings had so much potential here. Why, with a few subs sitting at the site, they only have 3 players sitting in the game? It really is confusing. It really seems like something could have been if they just had the 7 seconds left on that clock. 4v4 Space 9, maybe one more just to solidify their victory. And they will find it. 3 points on the board. They take the victory and they turn things around from what seemed like a struggling first game to a very dominant 3-0 last map, 5-0 an ultimate. Yeah, what a game.
I mean, a lot of back and forth here. And this, I always say this, right? Being a top tier team, being a pro, sorry, an esports player in his esports team, one of the difficulties of being at this level is not just having one, great, amazing players, but also making sure your team shows up, making sure you have the players to fill in, the subs. No, team management really does. Oh my goodness, sorry. Team management really does come in here, and it's just as important, I would argue, as every other aspect of running these teams.
Yeah, you know what? And you're spot on there, of course. It's not just about individual players, how they show up and play on the day or whatever. It is about the organization, and the captains and the effort they put in to bring together a team, to help their players, teach their players, choose the right players, nurture and grow a team that could go on to be the best, could go on to just be another footnote in the Orion Drift history books. And I guess this is the time when we see which team prevails and which don't. Looks like I'm not hearing you.
Oh, sorry, I'm not talking. It was Al for a second. But hey, this is what we're talking about, right? This Chill Kings players. This might look a little different for them, right? If they had been able to field those 4 players, we saw them win in that first round, 3-1, 4-2. They still had that, fight in the second one, but the last 2 rounds just didn't quite work out for them in the end. But that's gonna be a good thing for the Space 9 players, as they are gonna be moving on with another win in their pocket. And it looks like that will be it, though, for this current round. Hopefully, I think with the kinks worked out from round 1, hopefully it's a little faster from these rounds going forward here. But that'll be it from us for now. We'll see y'all potentially in a couple minutes here. Hopefully not too long for the upcoming Game 3 for the Swiss bracket here.
Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2 wow.
Match phase. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody reinforce?
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody reinforce?
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody reinforce?
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody reinforce?
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody reinforce?
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody reinforce?
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point.
Welcome back. Welcome back. We do have a, I would say, hot team here. You know, they might have won a previous cup or two. I think two, actually, technically, because they had another league that they had won for, and then obviously the Pioneer Cup, previously known as the Crane Gang. Here we are having Ignite come up on this current stream. Ignite versus Syndicates will be our upcoming game here. And I'm a little worried for the Syndicates players. I'm not sure how well they play. But playing against any cup title winner, it's a little scary, I think, for any team that that is coming into any tournament, right?
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, Crane Gang, when they played now as Ignite, came into that tournament, played that tournament, that Pioneer Cup, very well, very dominantly, and they even won their they went the entire tournament without forfeiting any rounds, I believe, which is just a feat in itself. And I wonder if they're chasing the same goal today as they start things off.
Yeah, they'll probably be trying to go in for the same thing that they had done in the previous tournaments, just dominate, play well, and showcase, well, honestly, what the top tier players in this game can do. Swagware already in the back there, and we've seen Swagware live play that back line very effectively here, as they are just doing it right there. But the ball is moving down the arena here. Syndicates already trying to make sure that, hey, they don't care. They might be cup winners, but hey, doesn't mean that Syndicates can't put up a good game themselves.
Yeah, and it'd be quite the feat if Syndicate can get any rounds off of this team, considering that the only round that Ignite is on record losing in the past, month or so, is a single round on the final round of the Swiss bracket of the Pioneer Cup, and that was won round against the team that they went on to beat flawlessly the next day in finals. So, I mean, this is a team to be reckoned with, and you can see it there. Just why his Goblin finds a nice goal off the back of his hand. It looks like he was just going to run straight past it. Kept those defenders on their toes, though, with a well-placed shot in the top right.
Already a pass going forward over there to their teammate Lucky or Lucci. I'm not sure if I saw that name correctly. Trying to go forward, but Swagwar does go in for the tackle. Their Gamer able to get possession back in hand, sends it to the middle, but no one there to be on the receiving end of that pass there. And again, communication is going to be a really big deal for these two teams here as Lucky. Now we get the ball back in hand here. And I gotta say, you know, the back line is doing a pretty good job right now for Syndicates, considering, you know, the players that they are going to be playing against in this current set of matches here. But that's a long shot there, and that's going to be in there for the Ignite players. And yeah, it's just one of those things where you can't have that open back line because Ignite, they are the team that can make those long shots consistently.
Yeah, they're the ones that not just can make the shots, but know exactly when to right there. I mean, even I didn't notice that the backline was fully open, and I get to fly about in this arena as fast as I want. And these teams just have great knowledge, great read of their opponents to do things like that. Swagwood, though, as I say that, doesn't hold on to the ball, gets tackled away from him, and it's Gamer holding on to that, making a play, holds on to possession, not pressured. Yeah, it looks like they're going all on their own, tries to pass it off, though. Crash and Tux is going to get that clear, get that safe for now.
CMT now getting tackled by the Ignite players here. It's going to be challenging for them, sent over into the Syndicates goal area here, but Gamer able to get a little bit of a juke there. And I gotta, again, credit to Syndicates. They are just playing this like a normal game here. They don't care who they're playing against. They'll be playing this one out as hard as they possibly can here. Swagwar coming in for the tackle here. Does get the beautiful lead shot, but it's all picked up there in the end by CMT.
Oh, and it's just great stuff from the back line there, but maybe not enough. Goblin drops that down, but can't quite find the goal. Enough players back there to eventually make a dent in that attacking play and send him flying. It's Crash and Tux, though, to turn things around with a nice carve there, flying around, holding all their momentum. Transferring that to the ball, though, as Goblin takes the shot, not quite, bounces off the side as the defender's making a good job of saving it. There we go, Truth Snacks there with a nice save, and they are holding off this Ignite team, you know, very well, a lot better than you might expect from the team, against a team that has meant, you know, that has gone flawless for as long as they've played this game.
CMT getting the ball in hand, trying to make this attack develop here. They send it over to the Snacks, able to get that connection there. Gets to the juke off, sends it over to Gamer. Oh, but it does get tackled by Fizzin. As now Ignite moving down the arena here, playing off of the wall here, gets some beautiful juke, sends across over to Goblin, does connect with their teammates, sends for another pass, and that's gonna be a beautiful connection there. And talk about an assist.
Oh.
I mean, Ignite.
Yeah. What a pass right down from the heavens. Swagwar. I mean, that does not look like a shooting position. I would not expect any goals to come from that, let alone a behind-the-back snappy goal like that. What a play from the Ignite team.
Yeah, Ignite doing a good job of this defense, keeping the ball out of play here as Fizzin trying to keep the ball off their hands. Sends it across the arena. Swagwar just misses it, but it's able to still get possession there as they are dancing around the players. It does get picked up, though, by Lucky, but it does get a tackle in there by the Ignite players. 3-0 right now. Now a minute left in a round here. And it's very much going, I was going to say back and forth, but that's actually incorrect. 3-0 right now. But Syndicates, you know, if I could see one goal from them, I'd be pretty pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, and you know they're doing a great job on this defense, and they've had some great attacking moments. They're good at holding onto that control, lining up the pitch, but you know, Ignite are just something else in their attacking plays, something else in their great defense, their great reads and tackles like that stop plays before they can even get set up to happen. True Snacks, though, trying to find at least one on the board, at least one to hold on to their pride and say, hey, we scored one goal in that round against the best team in North America coming into this cup, and maybe 1 point could spell the beginning of one round into the next few after this.
For sure. I mean, that's definitely going to be an achievement if they can get that one goal onto the Ignite. Again, Ignite, the current undisputed champions right now for VRML. Hopefully we can see what's going on here, but Ignite does finish out that round there. 3-0. Not a surprise to say the least, but I got to say, it's Ignite, right? When you're playing against a team like Ignite, previously Crane Gang, you got to have perfect chemistry, perfect passing, perfect shooting, almost everything perfect, because Ignite themselves have such beautiful connections on those passes. I mean, we've seen it time and time again where they're just passing back and forth with their teammates, and I'm trying my best not to glaze them too hard right now, but they played such a good game in the Pioneer Cup.
Yeah, you know what? And you're right. Try and start on to glaze them. But I guess wait and see if they can replicate tomorrow. And not tomorrow, sorry. That's just going to be more of the Swiss bracket for you guys in North America next weekend, where we will have the top 16 teams face off. I believe that's a single elimination. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, next weekend should be single elimination for the top 16 teams.
Yeah, and what a showcase that will be. That will be where the competition really happens, when it's all to play for, with the highest level of gameplay, and possibly from some of the teams we're seeing fight. Now, I'd be surprised if this Ignite team wasn't there next weekend.
You never know.
And you can never see why. Yeah, well. And there's still potential for Syndicate to make something happen, but it's a great pass. Goblin. Sorry, I say Goblin.
Wow, what a
the
goal.
EU IV player. No, that is Goblin with a great shot on the goal. It always seems like these shots aren't going to happen, and I think that's what's so special about this team. When they make these attacks, when they take those shots, you don't expect it to happen at that moment, and they can't predict it when they're sitting in goal over on the Syndicate side. You're not realizing it because it looks like they're just walking on past or resetting or something. Out of nowhere, though, they find the goal. And that's another one on the board. Ignite. Wow, what a team to be watching here. 1 minute past, 2 goals on the board. I mean, looks like they got sick of toying about with just 3 points for victory. They might just be going straight for the forfeit this time.
I mean, at this point, I feel like it's almost going to be a flex, right? When you're the top team, you got to try to go for these triple mercies when you can, or at least focus on working on specific plays, right, to see how they play in a competitive environment. Because, again, Syndicates, I'm trying my best to really give love to both teams at this point, but it's hard not to when Krang Gang and Ignite are in this arena here, right? But Syndicate's honestly doing a good job at trying to defer Ignite from getting as many goals as possible here, but it's just a challenging time for them because of these passing connections, the chemistry that we're seeing on this side here. But Syndicate's now moving the ball down the arena here. Gamer with the ball in hand, trying to send it over to True Snacks. It does barely get past their hand here, but Crashing Tux does read that, sends it back over to Swag War, and that is gonna be
a little steal there from Swag War. Maybe a redirect, maybe just a little bit of camping up at the top of the goal. One for yourself. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter to this team. Just a bit of a cheeky gameplay from Swag War for the 3rd goal on the board.
Yeah, if I were Syndicates, I would look at this as a learning opportunity. You're playing against the best of the best here, so this is the best time to really pull out all the stops, see what you can do, and see what top tier, and I dare I say, world-class players play like in Orion Drift.
I'd be asking them for advice at the end of this game. That's these are the chances you've got. I mean, you are placed in a server with the 4 of Orion, just as you say, world-class players, the one that we see time again up at the top, up competing and finding goals like that. And when you're in a server like that, I mean, I don't know who wouldn't be taking advantage of the chance to ask for feedback up against them.
We're back on it.
For sure here. True Snacks trying to make some kind of response here, moving down the arena off of Halo, sends it over to their teammate, does get intercepted by Swag War. And again, I mean, this is what we're seeing from Ignite. It's just perfect reading of things on defense, attacking, having things weave in together. It's one of those, I don't ever want to tell a team that you shouldn't play a game out. You should always play out with your best heart and just hope that you just see it as a learning experience. And how, to your point, how does it feel to play against the top players in Orion Drift? Get some experience with that. See how they play, because who knows? One day, maybe not this game, but maybe one day you can be there too. They put in the time, they put in the effort to get to this level. It doesn't mean that you can't do it either.
Yeah, I mean, not everyone just showed up in the game, in any game, and just happened to be the best here. These players did not just wake up today, download the game for the first time, and come in and play like this. They have put in the hours, put in the work, and for them, it pays off as Swag War finds another beautiful goal, all on their own. We talk about passing plays, we talk about teamwork, this and the next thing, but sometimes some of these players just need a nice solo goal to round things off like that, putting Ignite 1 goal away from the unfortunate but potentially inevitable mercy.
It's funny. I saw someone call those plays where you're hiding behind the QB queuing, which I don't even know where that came from. But someone said we should call it shadowing, and I like that. I like that term.
Yeah, I like
shadowing.
Shadowing
is a great way. I mean, beautiful shadow play coming out there from the Ignite players. Really watching what the QB was going to do, and I don't think they were even expecting them, right? They probably went in for a really good speed car behind them and then able to follow up really fast behind them. They weren't expecting that, and definitely a good shadow play. I'll definitely call that. I think we should change that terminology. I don't know what queuing is. I don't like it.
Well, you know, a lot of people say shadowing. I don't know.
Really?
You know what?
That was on TikTok. I'll say that was on TikTok.
I'm not a big fan of naming plays after players. I think it would have to be something exceptional, rather than something potentially inevitable. You know what I mean? I mean, if we named every single play type of play after a player, we'd just basically yelling out players' names this entire cast.
Hey, that did happen a lot in the Echo community, I think, but I think because those players were so good at very specific plays, and they did it at the top level. They're using that at the master tier level, right?
What a game!
I'll do it when I see a play worthy of it. That's my opinion.
You're right. Honestly, I feel like that's such a general
sort
of play. I think shadowing definitely is a better terminology for that sort of thing.
And you know what? I won't lie. In closed early access, shadowing still existed. We just called them rats.
Yo, that's crazy.
And you know what? Eventually, this kind of stuff would work its way into the meta and eventually become standard. And you know what? Great. If people can work its way into the meta and can counter it and can implement it into strategy, that's brilliant. But you know what? Let's call it shadowing and not name it after the player.
You heard that now on the VRML Stream Me Network. We're gonna call it shadowing. Hopefully it sticks, right? Shout out to I see Ignite VR in the chat right now, so they're watching their own team play effectively right now. But shadowing is a good name. I think so. I honestly think so. I'm not saying we coined it, but I think it just makes sense to call something what it is, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Hold on to your hurt balls.
All right, here we go. Ignite off to their third round here. I'm wondering how well they'll be performing in this upcoming round, because we saw that, I think it was 3-0, 5-0 in the last 2 rounds.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The true credit here to Syndicates is how they're able to fend off a lot of the force from the Ignite team. You know, there's so much more this team could be doing up against them. We could have seen that forfeit in the the mercy in the last one a lot quicker, especially from a team like this. We could have seen a mercy in the first round, and Syndicates is able to put in some great defensive moments, some great times. But you know what? Not able to find goals of their own, which makes sense when you're up against this team. And you know what was kind of expected coming into this. And I guess we're watching this game just so we can get a sneak peek about what's to come from the team coming in here as the champions defending their title.
Yeah, I wanted to see what the Ignite players are up to, and they've definitely been cooking, because I'm pretty sure this is not even Ignite, at their 100%. We're seeing them, honestly, kind of give a little bit of breathing space to some of the Syndicate players and allow them, I think, to really develop some plays here and try some things out. So hopefully Syndicates can capitalize. I will say that sometimes teams get a little too confident and allows the other team to get 1 or 2 goals in. And sometimes that's all the other team needs to lock in, right? They're like, no, we're not going to lose because we're messing up, right? So it's always funny to see the team lock in. But I like that. I like when a team takes advantage of the confidence that the other team is obviously exuding.
Yeah, and we saw that in EU at the Pioneer Cup, right? Coming out of day one. I know I keep talking about EU, but I kind of have to be the only EU caster showing up today. So, but anyway, coming out of day one in the Pioneer Cup, we saw Cold take a victory against Ivy in the final round. And those ended up being our finalists tomorrow. And Cold came in and they told me afterwards with just too much confidence. They were overconfident with it. They thought this should be easy. And maybe just a bit too much. They ended up losing that game. Ivy ended up taking the finals, even though they lost the exact same game the day before. And it really just speaks big words, a lot about overconfidence, mental game, and how that matters so much in a game like this.
Yeah, I will say, the scene is still developing. I feel like to have that confidence, maybe when the skill gap is that massive, totally understandable. But I'm gonna be quite frank. When you're playing against another finalist team, I don't know if I would have that kind of confidence, right? There's confidence in thinking, hey, we could, I would want to win this. I expect us to win this, but still treating them to your same skill level versus saying that and then obviously kind of playing around. I would almost argue playing around with them, right?
Yeah. You know what? In Orion Drift, these are the three basics. These are the three big things that I think are the most important in a game, right? And I'll stand by this. Number one is your mechanics, right? You know, your carving, your shooting, passing abilities. There we go. Another goal from Ignite. The first, actually. Didn't realize that was the first. They've been, you know, off the pedal a bit, but still, anyway, the advantage. As I was saying, your mechanics, you know, your carving, your passing, your shooting, that sort of stuff. Number two is your teamwork as a team. You know, how well can you coordinate? How well can you read each other, work off each other, and work together to find goals? And number three is your mental. And I think that is one of, you know, the biggest of those three once you start getting to this highest level. And the funny thing is, mental is not in this game. There is no coded mental. It is not a factor. It cannot change like in the code. No one can do that except you, and that is all in your head, you know. And it's about how well you can manage that. And for a lot of these teams, a lot of these top teams, it ended up making so much more of a difference than you'd really expect. Just watching the game here, as Ignite finds another goal, 1 minute left on the clock. Looks like they're going to take this game, but you know, that mental is such a big factor, if not the biggest for the top teams.
Right, because it's going to affect your performance in the game. It's going to impact the decision making that you have. So many different things are, you know, a factor of how you play. And I remember I saw someone online talk about, you know, maybe not raging, but playing into some people's mental states can work better for your team. That's not to say to be toxic and obviously try to tilt people, but if you know that someone doesn't like being tackled a certain amount, maybe tackle them a little more to really change that mental state. And that's really using the game against the other player, right? Again, I'm never gonna say that you should be toxic in order to tilt people. But like I said, if someone hates being tackled, you know, who's to say that you can't tackle them a couple more times to really kind of shift the mental state into your side, right?
Yeah, you know what? And those are my three big basics. And honestly, I'm yet to see one team nail down the third consistently. And I think when we do, that will be the team that wins, that truly pulls their positioning up to first and keeps consistently winning anything. Anyway, those are my three basics. Or maybe we should name them after me, considering we're going on a player naming streak. I don't know what's going on with that today.
Oh, he's locked in. He's locked in like Finto, like right.
Those are the three Fintos of Orion Drift, guys, okay? Once you nail down the three big Fintos, that's when you start really proving yourselves. Anyway, of course, we joke here on the B stream. That was
the Finto pillars, like what else you want to call it?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Anyways, I mean, I think we... again, I have to say this because I remember one time I got in trouble because someone, not in trouble, but a team was like, you were toxic to us. I'm like, what are you talking about? They're just like, you said we were like losing a certain game or whatever. I'm like, I was providing analysis. So again, I'm not discounting these Syndicates players. They performed as well as they could have. But it's just, you know, when you're playing against Ignite, it's kind of Ignite, or again, previously Crane Gang. We're expecting the game probably to turn out a certain way because again, to be a cup winner comes with a lot of, I think, I would say almost aura, right? And obviously the understanding that you've earned your spot to be able to play, you know, at the top level. Again, as we mentioned earlier, world-class level players, because that's the level they play at. That's how well they play. And we saw that in this game, right? Even when they weren't truly at their 100%, they had beautiful connections in terms of passes and shooting opportunities. And again, credit to the Syndicate players for really sticking it in and trying their best to make things work out. I mean, we saw some kind of ebb and flow, right, with the last couple rounds here. So credit to both teams here, but it did come out in the end to the Ignite players. But I mean, what else can you say about Ignite, right? I sometimes hate talking too much about some of the top tier teams because I sound like I'm blazing them, but they've earned it.
You know what? And I think we'll really see what's gonna happen. You know, this is early days. This is round 3 out of 8. Of day 1 of up to 3, you know, for what will be those finals, semifinals, that not round robin, sorry, single elimination bracket on that final 3rd day next weekend. And you know, I think that's when we might see some of these Crane Gang Ignite contenders show themselves. And I guess when we see a team that can beat out this team, maybe then lay off on the praise for this team as much, because as it stands right now, though, I am yet to see a team become even close to beating them.
Yeah, I mean, the closest I think we had seen was what IVNA side of things, and it makes sense, right? IVEU, they performed very well themselves on the EU side of things. NA themselves performed very well, but when it came down to it, Ignite still won out in the very end there. But hey, anyways, that is going to be it for this round 3. We'll be coming up into a round 4. Reminder, again, today is day 1 for NA. We're going to only be playing 4 rounds for today, so that'll be the final cast for today, and then tomorrow will be the next 4 games. And again, a reminder for that too, after all 8 games have been played out this weekend, the top 16 teams will move on to play in the playoffs next Saturday. So we'll get to be see an exciting set of games for the NA playoffs there, and really I believe it's single elimination too, so we'll be seeing single elimination for the top 16 teams, and we'll see maybe who's the second best team or top team to win a cup in this game. Maybe it's Ignite, maybe it's IV, maybe they switch to, change some of their things on their roster, work through some training. They might come through themselves this time around, right? I will say, like, just because you won one championship doesn't mean that you're guaranteed to always win every single one, right? Because there's always other teams trying to make their best and potentially knock you out of the cup themselves here. But that is few and far between, because that is going to be next weekend here. Thanks for coming on for this game 3. Hopefully we'll be not too long. I'll send y'all back to ads, but we'll be back potentially maybe in 10-15 minutes. Hopefully not too long here.
Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. And somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. And somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. And somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. And somebody
Go.
Bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Okay,
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Okay,
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point. Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody reinforce?
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point.
Tease the stream intro because they're welcome back. Hopefully y'all are doing great. Sorry, I was like chatting to Finto in the pre-game. Obviously we talk a lot, you know, as casters. I think one of the most important skills as any caster is learning to chat here. But anyways, we're gonna be watching Control and face off in this current matchup here for game 4 out of 8, right? Remember, day 1, if y'all have not been watching the cast the whole time, I know it's been a very long cast. We're going on almost 4 hours now. About to be 4 hours, I think, after this game. But day 1 is going to be 4 set of matches. Day 2 is going to be the next 4 set of matches. And then, obviously, whoever places the top 16 in NA will then move on to next Saturday to play in the playoffs, which is going to be a single elimination bracket. Everything's going to be, again, a best of 5 in this 4v4 competitive format for Orion Drift here. But anyways, Control and face some pretty, I think, solid teams here. I've seen these names time and time again here, Finto. Do we expect to see a pretty good game coming up?
Yeah. Hey, I mean, I'm looking forward to Control, one of the teams that made it to that top 8 in the
Pioneer
previous
Cup?
in the Pioneer Cup face. Sorry, my internet's doing something funny here. Give me 2 seconds.
Okay. Yeah, face and, you know, Control, we've seen them play here time and time again here. So I'm expecting to see some really good gameplay from both of these two teams as they are going to be duking it out in this 4th set of matches. And I will say this tends to happen too in the Swiss bracket. The later games get more and more competitive as if the system finally understands how well your team plays and tries to match you against teams of similar caliber here, right? I think even in this matchup, if y'all are not watching on Stream 1, I don't want to send people away from us, but I think Ignite and IBNA should be playing their set of matches. So it'll be exciting to see this round 4 set of matches and how players play here. And I think everyone is in the arena, so hopefully we should be getting started pretty soon here. But we'll see what is going on for this. But again, I'm going to give some shout outs and some general reminders. Shout out to another Axiom, obviously one of my top favorite sponsors, for providing us with the game that we love, and obviously for supporting VRML for all the cups, and of course a VRML Con coming up in the next couple of months there. Actually, we're about to be in June, so next month, really, when it comes down to it, we'll be seeing everyone live pretty soon here. And of course, if you have not already heard, as I just mentioned, VRML Con is coming up next month. And if you want to be a team that either comes live and plays, sign up for the qualifiers by getting a ticket. And if you just want to watch the best players in the world play these games, buy a ticket too and just check out some of these players as they fight for the grand finals in their game here. But yeah, did you tell them that we're ready to get started here, Finto? Or
yeah, I think I did. Just waiting for that to get going. Yeah, they've been given the note. They know to get going. Sorry if I'm dropping in and out here. I'm just having some issues. You keep dropping out for me.
That's fun.
Being in, being in Scotland, I'm quite prone to issues here and there. I guess just the drawbacks of Yeah, not being in North America and trying to show up and give you guys some cast for the North America tournament, which we're getting ready to go into the fourth and final for today. Round of Control, face-to-face, two teams which are pretty skilled, looking to be an exciting game. Kick us off, Martini.
Yeah, excuse me there. Sorry, I just burped right into my mic, but it's totally fine here. As it looks like Face already getting started off to a good start here. Donuts trying to get around Dwagon, but it does get picked up by Dwagon. I like saying his name. Whoa, my internet is acting up too. Maybe it's the server. Am I tripping? Anyways, we'll just pretend like we didn't see the skipping. It's a new mechanic they added in to Orion Drift here, right? As Dwagon does pick up the ball again, takes that long shot, but it does get picked off by the geometry there.
I think that might be you, because you keep lagging out for me, and my game seems to be running fine. But you know what? If there's any time for it to break, it's when things are coming to a close in this last game. But they are just starting to find a chance. 0-0 on the board right now. It is Info trying to get that away. CJ now, neither team can hold on to it for too long. Tries to pass it across. Lala can hold on to that as Glow Monster from the Control side, who loses that as well. Tackled away. Dwagon recovers that. Once again tackled. Neither team getting any space. Not quite yet, at least.
Yeah, I think my internet might be just acting up a tad bit here, but we'll persevere and hopefully cleans up in a little bit here. Control now trying to set up their attack here against face-to-face players, but this defense is keeping them back here. La gets a hand on the ball, sends it over to get into Spedke's hand as they try to send it back over to Eggshot, and it takes a shot there, but it goes a little too wide, and they take a second shot there, and Dwagon just misses it. And, if I were on the Control side, I would be so upset right now in the team comms.
Yeah. Yeah, that's Glow Monster from the face team. Nice ceiling carve away. No boost to keep that going, but passes off, and it's to the other team, unfortunately. Now Control coming in with their own attack, passes that straight down, though, to Mr. Donuts. They cannot hold on to this for long. No passing plays coming in from either team. Just yet, we are 0-0. 2 minutes already gone by, 3 minutes left on the clock. It's Mr. Donuts from face with Control, but for how long is this passed off to Dwagon? Dwagon up onto Agisha, and Agisha finds that goal, and that's the first for either team. The first for Control.
Yeah, looking like a good setup here for Control here as they are going to be rolling around. Maybe getting some pick up some speed here from a Donuts, going high into the arena, sends it deep into their teammate there. CJ able to pick it up, sends it back over to Glow Monster, takes a shot there, but it does get picked up. A CJ there for the follow-up. And I mean, that is kind of crazy, honestly. I think CJ took the shot, missed it, but came back to finish their own missed shot.
Actually starts it. Oh, it's on.
Yeah, coming in with a lot of speed there on the rebound. Perfectly timed as well. Oh, quickly turning things around. That goal feels broken as we pass halftime, and it seems like Control take back their advantage almost immediately. Only 1 point in this game, and the goals are flowing fast.
Sends it over back to CJ. They do receive it, but it does get tackled, unfortunately, by that Control defense here as CJ is trying to move it down back to their teammate, but it gets picked up by Lala, sending it across arena. Dwagon just misses it, though, and now that's going to be a free ball at this point for both teams.
Yeah, and it's Bedkey who's holding on to that for now. 1 minute 40 left to go. Possession will not stay on either team for long. It's just coming down to these quick moments where they have that possession. They actually make something happen, but they are few and far between at the moment. Glow Monster loses that ball. Info recovers it. Dwagon in for the tackle, but no, not able to get that Info. Maybe breaking away. The goal feels almost open. 2 players back now. Tackle drops it down. Saved for now, away for now, but coming in strong, it's Dwagon taking that up. CJ tackles, recovers, holds on to it, but no, Agisha recovers that again. Once again, they are great with the defensive pressure on the face side, but how good is that when you need attacking pressure now? They're still looking for 1 goal left. With 1 minute left to go on the clock, it's Glow Monster coming in from the top, maybe passing that off, not quite, just losing the ball to Spedkey.
Yeah, Face needs to do something here to really lock in. He got 50 seconds left in the round here. Takes a shot over there on Agisha, but they do get that blocked here. Sends it back into the face side here. Is Dwagon able to scoop that one up. Goes in for potential passing option. Sends it over to their teammate Spedkey. They're able to get that and receive that as they turn around. They just, unfortunately, the ball slides a little too much out of their hand here. And I got to say, this has been a long, I think, a minute or two where the turnover has just been happening time and time again for both of these teams. And we always talk about possession being such an important stat for both sides here because you want to maximize the amount of goal scoring opportunities that you do have here, as it looks like we are going to be now facing it out on the Control defensive side.
Yeah, and with so little time left, there's any time for Face to find one more goal. It would be now, but Dwagon, though, looks like maybe just for one more. Glow Monster now. No, neither team. Looks like this game is just about over, and it will likely go to control unless... No, Mr. Donuts. There was a chance there, but it taps the floor, and that is the first game locked in for control.
I mean, talk about back and forth, right? We saw so much turnover with possession going back and forth between these two teams. I wasn't quite sure who I thought was going to be able to win this one out here in the end, but, I mean, what did you see there, Pinto?
Yeah. Well, you know, we saw a while before the first goal came in, and that was from the control side. And then quickly returning, it was Face with one. And then once again, we switched that scores. They get that advantage back again on the control side. And you know, and then nothing happened for the next 2 minutes of the game. Everything happened in 30 seconds. Then nothing happened in the you know 2 minutes either side. And it just makes me a bit curious about what's playing into that there. Is it the mental game? Is it that momentum? You know, are they getting overconfident? Are they struggling? Do they adapt to each other? And I'm wondering which team can play that extra factor that's affecting this the best going into this next games. Which team can take advantage of that? You know, starting off, it was control. Can Face turn that around?
Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening here, as already Face having to defend now against control players, and they are again keeping their hand on that position. Sends over to Spedke behind the board, takes a shot there, and that's going to be another point.
There we go.
On the board for the control players.
And a goal that quick is a sign of a high-scoring game. But there is, you know, as I said earlier, this could go one of two ways. Either we see, you know, so many goals come in here and finish with such a high score line, like, you know, 5-6 or something crazy like that, or we see that as the only goal for this entire game. And honestly, I'm curious to see what it would be. Either way, a confident way to start for control.
Yeah, control definitely feeling off to a good start here. One round already in the pocket here. But again, that was a close round. There's only one stray goal from things happening out. And just as I say that, control locks that one in here. And that's going to be another round.
Yeah, wow.
Point in the pocket right now for the control players. I mean, you know, the path that it's going here, I'm almost a little worried for Face.
It looks like as the day goes on and we both get more tired, we're just stumbling over our words here as these players stumble over each other. Mr. Donuts chasing it up. Spedke, though, good possession. No, not enough. No boost. It's Mr. Donuts with the boost. Is able to take that over, but it's passed over to Agisha on the other team. CJ recovers possession, holds on to it safe for now. Anyone's ball, though, as it's knocked up in the air again, and it's Glow Monster's ball. He's going to take that up the court, up onto the halo, drops down off of the bridge. Dwagon knocks him out of the way, but Mr. Donuts comes in flying fast. It's not enough. Not enough on that tight angle. Dwagon gets that clear. Glow Monster in the perfect position for the recovery off to Infa. Tackled by Dwagon. Gets that clear, gets that away, gets that safe for the Face team.
Yeah, going to be back on the
control team.
Back on the Face defensive side at this point. Never mind, things switch up here. Spedke now having to send it back for the reset there. Lala does be able to pick the ball up in hand, moving down the arena here. Going in for the pass over to Dwagon. Does connect, but they can't as it does get tackled out of their hand. Beautiful defense coming out from the Face players here as they try another attempt there. And control does take that shot again.
Yeah, and there we go. Control taking this game quite confidently now. 3 points up, 2 minutes 30 left on the clock. You know, there is enough time, there is enough potential for Face to turn this around, but it would be surprising at this point, in my opinion, if Control don't find themselves in match point into this next game.
Yeah, be a little.
Yeah, I guess that's the way things, of course. This is early days. These are new tournaments. Stuff could go wrong here and there, and at least, you know, it's just a slight internet hiccup on B-Stream, considering how well everything's running. You know, of course, in these moments, we do have to shout out the entire team that makes it possible. The moderation team, as Glow Monster tries to find a goal for Face. Not quite, yeah, but worth shouting out. The moderation team that makes this run so smoothly is doing everything manual. You know, sorting out all the tickets, all the problems, helping everyone play in this brilliant tournament. And, you know, we need to say a big thank you to them for that.
For sure, looks like Lala coming in and takes a shot there, and that's finally going to be another round. Sorry, another point in the pocket there for the control players, and it has just been going the way of control here. I'm almost worried though, what's going on for FaceFace? Is it a mental game here, or is control really just locked in like that?
Hey, I mean, Control is playing a great game possession-wise. They are doing much better. When they lose the ball, it's either a pass off or to a position where there's a teammate to recover it. And that possession game is just doing them absolute wonders. If you have possession of the ball, you are the ones that are able to take advantage when a mistake comes in from the other team. When you see a gap in their defense, or they make a mistake overshooting a tackle, putting too many players forward, if you're the ones in control of the ball at that point, you're the ones that can take advantage of it like that. Spedkey, control of the ball, control of the goals, finding the 5th for Control. A lot of control, a lot of goals. Wow, what a game.
Yeah, definitely talking about control of this current game here. I mean, 5-0 right now. That's almost a very dominant, close to mercy sort of game here. And I'm wondering, you know, FaceFace, can they take a breather here in his upcoming break, or is it just going to unfortunately fall apart here? Actually, taking the shot there, does miss it though, but it doesn't quite matter here. Control still finishes out 5-0 for that game here.
Yeah, and that is a good way to move forward into their match point. That is a lot of momentum, a lot of positive mental, a lot of confidence to be carrying with you into the potentially final round for them today. And for them today, that will be them finishing off with a
pretty good way,
perfect,
right?
Yeah.
Only 4 games today, right? So
and they will have won them all if they win this. It's for either team. So
this will definitely be fun to see what ends up happening here. But 2-1, 5-0 coming out here for Control. It's looking pretty solid for them. And I'm kind of curious, can FaceFace do anything? It's starting to feel like with this momentum on the Control side here, I'm a little bit worried for them here because I want to see some good action. Because we saw that in round 1. We saw FaceFace put up a pretty solid, strong fight in round 1.
Yeah. Oh, we did. And, they've got the potential in this team. This isn't, a random team. This isn't a team that, they didn't quite make the top 8 last time. But I've seen FaceFace in other tournaments and what they can get up to. And they have so much potential.
We're back on it.
Even in just this game, that first round. Even in the times when they had saves, good attempts on the enemy goal up against Control here. You could see the skill level in this team, and really they just need to bring that out, let it shine in these moments in this round that they don't want to make their final.
Yeah, they definitely want to showcase a pretty good game here. They try to take that shot there, doesn't quite make it. Unfortunately, beautiful defense coming out from the Control side here, as now everyone's fighting for possession at this point. Actually able to get the ball in hand, goes for the carbs and takes a shot there.
Oh no!
In the end, and Control again has just been on fire right now. It's hard. It's got to be hard on the bench.
They are setting themselves up to finish. I know. Yeah, especially going into day 2, you don't want to finish off by potentially even getting mercy to Control stay on this pace. But even then, not being able to find any points at all besides that very first game, not a great way to carry forward your mental into tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely not here, but doesn't mean it's the end-all be-all. I think we've talked about it before, right? Top 16, I think it allows at least 1, maybe 2 losses, and you can still kind of skirt your way in to that top 16 place.
Yeah, that's for sure. So, it's not over, not even close for these teams if they don't make it today. It just depends how they can carry forward that mental. And you know what? That would be good for Control if they can walk away with, even a mercy. They're lining themselves up for this game. But even then, a great finish. That is a good way to carry yourself forward into the 4 games.
As the ball might have been owned gold in the end there. That's going to be unfortunate timing, I think, for the FaceFace players there. You got to be careful about just assuming, obviously, as we've seen, that miscommunication, I believe, was the problem in that previous goal.
Oh, and that's a rough way to go. This is a rough way to be finishing off the day, unfortunately. A confident way for FaceFace. A confident way for Control. A rough way for FaceFace. Yeah. Oh well, that's 1. That is 1. In the first, they found for a while, but what good can it do? Up
The
against
arena
the 3
revs
they
up
were still need to
again.
find in the next 2 minutes, and then the 3 games that they would need to, the 2 extra games they would need to following this if they can win this at all.
Yeah, they definitely would need to lock in for the next 3 goals if possible here. But hey, I've seen crazier things happen in the middle of games. You never know what can change here. But it looks like it is now being fought for possession on the control defensive side at this point. Infa able to go in there and get a hand on the ball, moving it down the arena here. Tries to get around the defender almost, but it does get picked up by that goalie in the back there. And control able to maintain good possession of this ball.
Yeah, and it's very confident. They have shots on the goal like that. It is great for them to and they're really good, not just about maintaining about it, but when they lose it, they're great at recovering it. They play aggressive. They chase it down like Agisha here, recovering that quick, taking advantage of what seems like an open ball and an open goal. 5-1 for control. 1 minute left on the clock. Mathematical time. We say it time and time again. It is now no longer possible for Face to take this game.
We're
Control
back on it. Oh,
will
here
be
we
finishing
go.
today with a perfect 4-0 scoreline. One of the few teams who will do today.
You know, I always wondered what the mathematical time was in this game. Honestly, the fact that you can almost immediately play right off of
I think it's,
a score, I think it's got to be like 5
but I think it's
seconds
20
less, right?
seconds though. Is the
What? Per goal?
no? I think it's 20. You know, yeah, because that barrier stays up for I believe 20 seconds, and if a team knows this, then they can time waste. So I think it's 20 seconds. If I might be incorrect here.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
If you spend that entire 20 seconds
20
behind,
it's plus
like
20 seconds.
waiting rather
Oh.
than pass. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
you wait,
even think about
if you wait
that.
at that full 20 seconds, if I'm right in saying it's 20 seconds, I could be totally incorrect here. Of course, teams come in with great sportsmanship, even if mathematical time, even if that's gone, just like this game is gone for Face. A good sportsmanship comes in from some of the teams, and they will run it anyway. But in theory, it's that 20 seconds per goal.
I think
That's
then
the
mathematical
cutoff
time's
point. I
always
think.
the.
I might be mistaken.
It's got to be like the absolute minimum. Because you're right. There's potential someone just doesn't play it. I think the absolute minimum is they probably play it immediately. That's got to be, 1 or 2 seconds to move the ball down. And then the other team intercepts and shoots. And it's going to be like 5 seconds or whatever per goal. So that's like minimum. We're talking everything plays perfectly. It's got to be like 25, 30 seconds per 4 or 5 goal difference there. But I'm kind of curious. Someone's got to do the math. Like a proper thing. Because in Echo, someone already calculated that, right? So people already know the difference there. But someone's got to do it here. But you're right. There's that extra layer of the fact that
nothing starts until you pass that barrier. Yeah.
It's so interesting. I never thought
you know what? And we have seen teams, waste their time sitting around behind there because they can. It's a bit of a shame. And that's why, as well, in theory, if you're a team and they're 1 point away from taking victory, and there is 15 seconds left on the clock, or 1 point away from making things even again, why would you cross that barrier? Why wouldn't you wait out your 20 seconds?
Yeah.
Sitting nice and comfortably back home, taking that victory, spiking it down onto the floor. And you know what? Poor sportsmanship, or maybe just not obeying, the best, or giving them the best of their chances. But at the end of the day, in some of these more higher stakes games, the point is the point, and unfortunately, it is cutthroat here in the VRML.
For sure, people are going to be maximizing everything as much as they possibly can here. But hey, this finally did come down to control. And as we mentioned earlier, this will be, unfortunately, the last set of games we'll be casting today. So shout out to all the teams that have played today. Shout out to Control and Face for playing. And of course, congratulations to Control for finishing out this 4th game for themselves in this Swiss bracket style. So hopefully we can see y'all in tomorrow. But reminder, tomorrow we'll be seeing the day 2 of the Swiss bracket. It'll be the next set of 4 matches again. And again, whoever places top 16 will then be moving on to next weekend here. So sorry, my throat has been killing me. But thanks for coming out and watching the VRML Ignition Cup. We appreciate seeing y'all here today. And of course, remember to subscribe and leave a like. It's greatly appreciated for the channel. But hopefully we see y'all in the cast tomorrow.
Orion Drift VRML is brought to you by Another Axiom, Helga, the esports manager. Thanks for watching VRML.